Welcome, welcome, everyone. We are so excited that you have tuned into the very first episode of Living Well with Dee and Jenn. Girl, we here.
We
We did it.
here.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, miracles happen.
Miracles
A
happen.
podcast has been published.
Listen,
We did
just
it.
took one phone call, and then
Listen,
there it
we
was.
here.
Okay, we are here. We are excited, and you are watching what is really birthed out of a wonderful and amazing friendship. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But we want to introduce ourselves to you. I'm Dee, and I'm a wife. I'm a mom. Um, I have five children, five
Five.
beautiful children,
Yeah.
ages
Mhm.
17 to 7.
Mhm.
And it's just so exciting to just be raising them and seeing them growing.
Mhm.
I'm out of the diaper bag stage, and
Listen,
so
that stage.
listen,
Oh.
it's and I'm not
Don't
going
take.
back.
I'm not going back.
I'm not going.
I
They tried
am
to put me
not.
back on Sunday just because I was holding a baby. Folks,
Listen,
I'm like,
I am not going back.
I'm not going
By
back.
no
So,
means.
so we are excited to be here
Here.
in this season of parenthood, and it's such a different season. And so,
Mhm.
just navigating all of those things, Jen, it's just
Yeah.
so beautiful and wonderful. And I love all things nature and all things
Yes.
outdoors. And my husband and I, we've been homeschooling for 10 years.
Excellent.
And so all of the things that come with that and that journey,
Mhm.
and yeah,
That's
yeah. So it's a little bit
awesome.
of me.
That's
Just a
funny.
little bit
I
of me.
remember when we met and you was trying to bring me in to that homeschooling
Always.
journey. And I'm like, I don't have that anointing.
Always.
I do not have the homeschooling anointing. My kids, I would have had at least 2 CPS cases by now if I
Girl.
would have been homeschooling. But nevertheless, he gives each of us grace for different
I
things.
know, and that's why this works so
It
well.
does. And I'm able to still glean from you from what you
Yes.
are teaching your children, exposing your children to. I'm like, I want to go on that field trip.
Jen, you are always taking those kids somewhere doing something. I'm like,
I'm just saying, you got the homeschooling thing down. And
thank you,
I
sis.
salute you and
I
applaud you for that.
appreciate you, girl.
So, viewers, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I just joined the 40 Club.
And it was an amazing celebration, girl.
Yes, it was gorgeous and green.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I just joined the 40 Club, so I'm excited about that. My husband and I, we have been married for 18 years this year. So this year in September, we will celebrate 18 years. So our marriage is grown.
Come on.
Grown.
That's
Okay?
yes.
Grown.
We're out of that baby stage.
No. Stuff ain't gonna feel.
No.
Come on.
And we're
And
gonna
we're gonna talk about that.
because they don't. You got to endure to get to.
Listen.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
See, so you see why you want to be a part of this entire podcast journey. There is again so much knowledge and wisdom in this well, this living well that we want to share with you. But on top of being a part of the 40 Club, being married for 18 years, I also have 3 children, and I got one in elementary, middle school, and high school.
Yeah.
I said, how did we get here? Because of God's goodness. That's how we got
Yeah.
here. But they're amazing. And so I'm also, me and my husband, we lead New Life Community Church in Oakland, which we are really, really proud of. And I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I remember the very first business that I started landed me in the principal's office. I turned my Hello Kitty backpack into a candy store, and I didn't know that it was against the rules that I couldn't be slinging now laters on the play yard. So I'm really passionate about all things business and just empowering women to follow their dreams. And so, I am from LA too. People be trying to turn me into a Bay Area person just because. Actually, today, guess what? Today marks 13 years.
13 years
since we've been living in the Bay.
To claim the Bay.
Okay, anywho's, but I love the Bay, all right, because they come for you.
right.
That's just a little bit about us, and so we want to, kind of just take this first episode to really just open our hearts, and we're at the beginning of the year, and so everybody tries to get their best self together at the top of the year, and so I was thinking about how do you feel about the new year? So when a new year comes, do you have any traditions or anything that you do when the new year's up?
You know what? I used to be big on like doing resolutions, and then I kind of narrowed it down to just a word for the year.
Okay. Yep.
And so I love to just have like a word for the year, and usually that comes from like prayer and time and God's word. And after that, I just feel like, okay, I'm emerging with this word. So last year it was all about execute.
Okay.
And I really did execute, you guys. I was like, you know how you can get stuck in
Oh.
procrastination mode and planning mode? It's
Yeah.
like I gotta do all the
The
research. I gotta do all the.
perfection.
I gotta, and I just felt like enough is
Enough.
enough. I've
Yep.
done the
Mhm.
research.
His
I
grace is
His
sufficient.
grace is sufficient. I'm like, I'm launching, I'm doing it. And so I have two boys, three girls, and my girls, they love to do
Mhm.
art and draw and all of the things. And so we got them an art studio.
All
So they have an
right.
art studio, they have their own business. I mean, and we just execute like
Execute.
things just got into motion. And it
It's
was like, we're writing the business plan as we do the thing.
and that's how it is
It's
sometimes.
yeah.
Writing about it, you gotta kind of like
We
roll.
we're rolling with
Yeah.
this.
Mhm.
And when I, just shed off the fear and just started exercising. So this year,
This year.
my word is excellent.
Excellent. Because since you
Excellence.
executing,
Since I
you have to
executed,
execute in
yeah,
excellence.
I know. And I thought about that scripture that was like, there was a more excellent way,
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
more excellent way. And we know his way is
Is
the more
yeah.
excellent way. But I'm just like, there is a more virtuous,
Mhm.
noble
Mhm.
way, a more sacred way, or a better way to
Yeah.
go about just living well.
Living well.
And how are we going to do that? And what is that going to look like?
Yeah.
And how are we going to show up in parenting and marriage and all of the things? So that's my word.
Okay.
Excellence.
Okay.
Not perfection, y'all. We got to get
Nah.
in this word
Yeah.
to really, hone in on what God is calling. He's calling us up higher.
Higher. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now I don't have my word just yet because
Okay.
typically I do, but I know at the end of last year I took a sabbatical, and during that time I was able to read a lot, which I really enjoyed.
Okay, first of all, hand clap for sabbatical
Yeah.
and the practice of
Yes.
yes.
Resting, and we don't have to earn rest.
Mm,
We don't have to wait to retire to rest. It is a natural rhythm that we
yes.
need to make sure that we bake into our lives. Jesus himself, he demonstrated it.
Yes.
His rhythms of rest. He would do the miracles, and he's like, "All right, y'all, I gotta go see y'all later. I'm tired. Look, y'all took all the virtue out of
Right,
me.
right, right,
I gotta
right.
go restore myself." He made the world and everything, and on that seventh day he
Yeah.
rests.
Yeah.
And so rest is a gift from God. And so again, throughout the whole season, we're going to
Mm-hmm.
be hitting on a lot of different topics that we really think that is going to help bless you. And so if there is something that you want us to talk about,
Come on.
go ahead and message us. Send us a message, an email, DM. All the information is linked somewhere on this podcast, and you'll be able to just say, "Hey, we would love to hear from Dee
Yeah.
and Jen about
Yeah.
this topic." So I
Right.
don't have a word for the year, but like I said, on that sabbatical, I had some time to rest and really get clear. How about that?
I love it.
To get clear about what is my priority. And
Mm,
so for me, and I think anything I would want to share is just get clear about what is priority. Because once
yeah.
the word says in Matthew 6:33 to seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, right?
Right, right, right.
And so he would direct our path.
That's good.
And so I think as we take that time to rest, hear
Yeah.
from God, we will get clear about what he wants us to
I
prioritize.
love it.
And so one of the
I love
things
it.
that he was like, gave me the green light to was creating and using my voice in this way.
Yeah.
And so it was so great when we got together to get together for lunch and say, you know what, I think God is doing something. And so as we were talking,
Yes.
we said, you know what, we think our first episode should really be about friendship. And the reason why we're in February, right? We're right around the corner from Valentine's Day, and we know that's all about love. And there's different types of love, eros, and all the other
Mm-hmm,
things.
mm-hmm.
But
Agape.
yep, agape. But we want to spend some time about friendship because I think really that's also one of the foundations of this podcast
Yeah.
is our
Yeah.
friendship. So why don't you tell the people how we met? How
I
did we meet, Dee?
I love the story. And I love that we're navigating friendship too. But we met at church.
Uh-huh.
Your husband was preaching. I
Mm-hmm.
was there in the audience, and I was sitting like further back, and I saw Jennifer just looking like she looked so beautiful, so just everything. But she had her two boys with her, and they were little.
They were little.
They were little. And if you have two boys, as I've had two
Listen,
boys, holding one, telling one to sit
goldfish,
down. You have
all
the
the things.
goldfish, you have
Yep.
the Cheerios in a
Mm-hmm.
little plastic bag, and you're doing what you can.
Why
You
you
know what
trying
I'm
to get a
saying?
word?
Why are you trying to get a word? And there, no children's
No,
church,
no.
no children's
Mm-mm.
church is
We just here.
we have to thug it out,
Right.
in the pew with the kids. And so I'm watching this and having been there and not too far removed from that stage because my boys were just a little bit older at the time. After the service, I went up to you and I was like, here's my number. I
Mhm.
love to get together. I have boys as well.
Mhm.
Maybe we could do a play date or something like that. And so I just love to tell that story because
Mhm.
it was like, okay, I saw this young, beautiful mom and I was like, I want to hang out with her. I want to know her. I want to,
Mhm.
just see if we have anything in common and how it's been over a decade now.
Yeah.
And from that phone call and that conversation,
Mhm.
you then was like, okay, let's get
Yeah.
together for lunch. We met for lunch and we've literally been hanging out ever since. Our families have gotten
Yeah.
together. Her husband's preached at
Mhm.
our church. My
Mhm.
husband, who's a pastor, I didn't mention that, but yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, my husband been pastor. He's been, able to
Yes.
minister, and I've gone over, and it's just
Mhm.
been a wonderful fellowship and
Absolutely.
friendship, and yeah. So I appreciate you for the follow up,
Absolutely.
and don't you appreciate
I
me for
do. How about
coming
this?
and saying
Yes, I do appreciate you for coming, saying hi. A few things, like there's so much boldness. Not even want to say boldness, maybe
hi?
courage
Yeah,
that you have to have as a woman to really go up to another woman and say, "Hey, let's be friends."
yeah.
Because we like 40 plus now,
We're
right?
40 plus
So
now.
it's like it's friendships are different at
Yeah.
different stages. And I will say this before I go there is that honestly, you were an answered prayer.
What?
I mentioned how today marks 13 years that I have moved to the Bay Area. When
Yeah.
I moved here, like I didn't have no friends. Like all my family is in LA.
Okay.
I have one or two sorority sisters that I'm cool with, but we not kicking it every single day.
Right.
So I
Right.
really lacked a true friend that understood where I was in life. A new church planner
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah.
I have two boys and they're both under 5 years old. Like your girl was struggling. Your girl was struggling
With all the
with all the
things.
things, learning a new community and everything. So,
Yeah.
one, I want to share with you guys like, if there is something that you are lacking in your life and you have a strong desire for it and you
That's
know it's a
right.
need, like, go to God and say, Lord, nothing's wrong with saying, Lord, could you give me a friend?
That's right.
I want a friend.
Yeah.
I want somebody to have a good time with,
Right.
to grow with, have great experiences with. So, you are an answered prayer.
I appreciate that. But let me tell you all something about Jennifer that I've watched, and I always say this about you, and I think it's beautiful that you have an amazing gift of hospitality. I think it's radical hospitality because Jennifer knows how to bring you in to her circle. She knows how to bring you in close. So everyone that she interacts with really, they feel like a friend. They feel
Mhm.
like a best friend
Mhm.
almost. And it's just a beautiful gift and it's so authentic. It's so real. It's so loving. So I've seen it. I've seen you do it.
Mhm.
Um and not only that, you call us up higher, sis.
Yeah, we
Jennifer is
gotta
the
do
type
that.
of friend who will call you and be like, this is how I need you to pray for me.
Yeah, be
This is
clear.
how I need you to pray for me. Um, this is the thing,
Mhm.
and this is the word I'm standing on.
Yeah.
And it is such a beautiful reminder and encourager for all of
Mhm.
us to be like, man, that's how I need to be navigating my own life.
Yeah. Man.
That's what I need to be doing. I need to be picking up the phone and calling my
Mhm.
my friend, my
Mhm.
intercessor. So
Mhm.
it can't just be someone that I just talk about lashes with.
No, we gotta go because
We
them
gotta
them
go
peel off,
we
them
gotta
fall
go
off.
deeper. We gotta go a little bit deeper
Yes.
than all of the
Mhm.
exterior and the shopping and the
Yes.
brunches
Yes.
to
Yes.
like
Yes.
really
Yes.
how do I walk with Christ,
Mhm.
every day
Every
and be
day.
that friend with me and pray with
Yeah.
me and look and don't think of me any less
Win.
for having to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think what you're describing really is like a great recipe for friendship. So, what we want to share with you guys are just a few things that we think are some good ingredients, if you
Yeah.
will, to a friendship. So, what would be, I'm gonna give my top, not my top two, this is not in any order,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna give you three ingredients for a good friendship. If you want to make a nice friendship pound cake, you a
Come on,
pound cake
come
kind of
on. Oh
girl?
yeah,
You like Seven
yeah.
Up or cream
I like
cheese?
a cream cheese pound cake with
Okay.
fresh
Yeah.
whipped icing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
Hmm.
Like, don't give me the dry pound cake.
No,
You're gonna keep that
no,
one. That's the one that stays on the table.
that's right.
Okay, but we want you to get a friendship pound
A
cake that tastes
friendship
real
pound cake.
good.
Come on, sis.
And so the first one that I would say, and this again, no particular order, I would want to say is, I think it would have to be compassion.
Mm.
Just being compassionate
Yeah.
towards one another.
Okay.
In that, like, I have some empathy, I can stand in your shoes. And I felt as if like you were compassionate towards me. You understood my journey, I don't want
Yeah.
to call it plight, but
But don't it feel like that when you
it
got
made
two
me
under five?
it's a
Yes.
plight. Do you hear me? My God. But that so it's like that sense of compassion that you can come
Yeah.
to that relationship with. And then the other thing you talked about a little bit about it, and I don't know if it's a word. I gotta find the word exactly for it. But the idea of bringing you higher. So I want
Yeah.
a friend
Yeah.
that can challenge
Come on.
and encourage
Iron
me.
sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Like I can't. You can't be wood. And
That's
I'm over
right.
here iron, and I'm over here dull because when I rub up against you
Yeah.
every time, I get duller and duller
Sis,
and
not
duller.
everybody ready to be challenged.
Ain't nobody ready to be. Everybody not ready to be your friend. I think that's like
Yeah.
a important thing to understand. Like you're not my friendship quality, and it's okay.
Not everybody ready to see you win. See, because when I
Yeah.
sharpen you and
Mhm.
you come up, is there gonna be a rift there?
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Am I able? And that's why. Well, let's keep going, girl. I want to jump ahead so
So
bad. It's
those
so
are my
good.
ingredients. What's your
You know
ingredients?
what? I say vulnerability.
Okay. Yep.
The ability to be vulnerable and then have that vulnerability be
Replicate.
reciprocated.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Um, there can be times when you can be vulnerable in a relationship and the other person feels like they're there to help you and guide you and
Mhm.
coach you, but they never share their struggles
Mhm.
or their journey.
Yeah.
And so it's a little dependency there and a
Mhm.
feeding of the ego.
Mm.
But yeah, and I'm not looking for a
No.
coach. I'm
No.
not looking for in that instance. I
Right.
really want someone that I can share
Mhm.
and be vulnerable with and say, hey, this is what it is.
Mhm.
And you know what I'm saying? And then have that person do the same.
Do the
I
same.
think that is so key,
Mhm.
and goes along with the compassion that you were talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it.
When we're talking about, go ahead and jump ahead.
No, no, no. Go
Go ahead
ahead.
and jump ahead.
Okay.
Because when you were talking about, you know, iron sharpening
Mhm.
iron, and we love to talk about David and
Yes.
Jonathan
Yes.
and that friendship, and literally, David in the Bible is called to be king, anointed to
Mhm.
be king, and
Mhm.
Jonathan is the son of the king, the
Right. The
rightful
current king.
heir to
Yeah.
the throne.
That part.
But Jonathan knows and sees that, hey, it's David.
It's on you.
It's David. David is the
Mhm.
one who's going to take the, and being able, and my husband says this all the time. Can you be the friend to the king? Can you be a friend to
Mhm.
royalty? It's going to be him that's going to win. It
Woo.
ain't going to be me. It's
That
going to be him that's going to win.
that's so good. Slow down,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
Can you be a friend to the queen?
Yeah.
Can you be a friend to the queen?
Can you be a friend to the queen? It's
Because the
her
queen,
time to shine.
because the queen needs friends.
She does.
The queen needs a place where she can let her hair down,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
connect one on one, and it not be like things held against her,
Come
because still the
on.
queen is still human
That's
at the end of
right.
the day.
And let's not talk about how titles can get in the way
Oh, we can talk
of
about that.
authentic friendships,
Yeah.
because we're more than our title. We're
Mhm.
more than the roles that we happen to be
Yes.
in. We know First Lady ain't nowhere in the Bible.
Nowhere.
That's not. It's not a
Mhm.
fivefold officer.
No.
It
Mhm.
ain't a fivefold
Mhm.
ministry.
Mhm.
It ain't a grace gift.
Mhm. It's not a crazy. Not that it's not a.
Come
It's
meet me in the chat. Meet
girl.
me in the
Meet
chat.
meet us in the
Meet
chat.
us, because you got
Meet.
listen.
Listen. We. They not ready for it. Uh,
So the whole of me, the all of
mhm.
me, can you see all of the
Yes.
facets of me and be in leadership and all of those things and still have a Jonathan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Jonathan, and there's a grace for Jonathan. I think it's important for you to know, like, do you have that grace?
Yeah.
And I can think of, one to two people in particular where you have that grace to where you can, you know, let the queen do the queen thing, but you still hanging there with. And how about this? It doesn't make you feel any less.
doesn't make you feel any less.
Because you're not any less.
Yeah.
You're not any
Yeah.
less. And so we need to make sure that we are keeping a circle of friends that really helps us. But another part of that we can also think about is trust. Obviously, has to be trust there. And
Yeah.
so, real quick, I think the question that I think some people out there will be asking is when you're building relationships, whether that be a new one, especially when you're older, 40 plus or whatnot, how can you build trust with someone that is new, it's new? And I think I'm gonna answer a little bit, and then I'm gonna pass it off to you in terms of taking time. I think we forget that, especially when you're 40 plus, like you got a whole life. You a whole grown woman. You know what I mean? With mortgages and kids and careers and different things like that. So it looks different.
Right.
And I think people have to understand that friendship looks different. And just because it doesn't look, even though we're not going to brunch every single
That's
Sunday,
right. You don't have
we're
to hang out all
not
the time.
vacationing together every single Sunday, we're not on the phone every single week,
Right.
that doesn't make me less of a friend. For me, if you're going to be my friend, I just need you to show up. I need you to know the moments when you're supposed to show up.
Yeah.
Because your presence is a presence.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's good.
that's for me for friends. Like, just show up when I need you to show up. Like, show up.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it right there. How about you?
I love that. Girl, what was the question? I was so
just we were saying that friendship, one of the core things is trust. You got to trust the person. And so how do you build that trust, especially if you're building new relationships, later in life?
Man, I'm telling you, when I think the trust comes when you hit that bump in the road.
Yes.
And you guys are still able to move forward after that. And I'll share this because I didn't talk to you first. I was going to share a little story.
Okay.
Jen, do you remember when I called you and I was like, Jennifer, I feel a certain kind of, because I'm a homemaker, and I'm like, I feel a certain way when you be preaching and teaching to the women, and you telling us that we gotta, fulfill our full potential and things like that. And I'm like, what about me?
Yeah.
And Jen, you were so just gentle and was like, Dee, I'm not trying to offend you. I see value in where God has you and all of the things. But I feel like I was like being vulnerable and probably emotional. And you heard, first of all, she heard me.
That's good.
She didn't get offended. She didn't take it personal. But she was like, you know what? I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear what you're trying to say. And we were able to move forward. Now, I was like, okay, this phone call can go two ways. She can do the Christian thing and be like, oh, yeah, girl, I hear you. Praise the Lord. And like be done with me. But you weren't.
No.
Then we still have, do you remember that?
I do. And I think, again, obviously friendships, you have to expect some bumps in the road.
Yes.
Like, come on, you're two imperfect people.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you. That we have not made a covenant with. So unlike my husband, I gotta work this thing out with him. I can leave you if I want to.
Right.
So it's a choice to be your friend. So it's a choice to work through things.
Yeah.
And then also, like you said, having a humble heart. You want friends that, can be humble, to hear you, what you're saying, but then also learning from that. You know what I mean? Like, how can I how do I want to say? How can I reframe my words in a way that empowers more than what I was just talking to? You know what I mean?
Now that we're on the other side of that,
Yes.
how did you receive that then?
Again, knowing your heart, it wasn't a thing for me at all.
And that's why. And that's why, y'all.
At all. I'll say this because this time is coming to a close.
Okay.
I was talking to one of my friends. I don't even call her friend. She's literally a sister. She's literally a sister. Janelle. Hey, Janelle. We met in college, and literally her family adopted me. Her sisters adopted me, and we were together just a few weeks ago. And I was saying how some people are talking about like drama that they be having in their friendships. I'm like, how are you having drama like this with your friends? I'm confused.
Right.
And she said something really good. She's like, this is my only requirement for a friend. And that's how she said it. This is my only requirement for a friend. You need to be an adult.
There it is.
You need to be an adult.
There it is.
And adults communicate.
Yes.
Adults are responsive. Adults own their wrongs.
Yeah.
Be an adult.
That's it.
make sure that you guys know that you can always send us questions. We
Yeah.
love your comments, your feedback, and everything. I think that is what's going to make
Yeah.
this podcast so rich, knowing that this is a community.
That's right.
We get to come
We in this
together
together.
at the well to really draw from it so your lives can be rich. So Dee, real quick, what can you tell the people what is coming up next?
Oh
Like
my
what is on the
goodness.
horizon?
We're going to have so many exciting things coming up as we navigate living well. We're going to talk
Mm-hmm.
about marriage and
Yes.
relationships. We're going to talk about and even go deeper on the topic of living well and
Yes.
wellness
Yes.
for
Absolutely.
women. So we're just so excited. You guys stay tuned
Stay
and keep watching and be
tuned.
sure to subscribe so that you can catch the next episode. Jen, I love this.
I do too.
Sis.
This is the best is yet to
The
come.
best is yet.
And I'm believing
Yeah.
that, so many people are going to be blessed by this. And so we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to the very first podcast
We did it.
of the Living Well with Dee and
We
Jen.
did
We
it.
hope you enjoyed it. Look, we're only going to go up and up and up and up because we go from glory to glory with
There
God,
it is.
right?
There it is.
All right. So you guys have an amazing day. Please share this with a friend if you found value from it. And we'll see you on the next episode.